Hey, it's Craig. You may recognize me as Stuttering Craig from way back in the old internet days. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I love hanging out with you guys here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you are new, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button because, hey, subscribing is great. Thumbs up, even more appreciated. You know what's even more appreciated than that? Commenting, because I read every single one and I try to respond to as many as I possibly can. Today, we are taking a look at an episode of Pop Fiction, my favorite classic internet show about video games, done by the wonderfully brilliant people over at Game Trailers, now Easy Allies, their new brand since Game Trailers died about a decade ago now or something, whatever it was. But hey, we're going to take a look at this. This has something to do with Metroid. The description says, we venture back to the origins of Metroid to discover the truth of the rumored hidden areas. I don't know. I legitimately, if I did see this back in the day, I forgot about it. I'm excited to watch this thing. It's about Metroid. But before we get into that, do me a favor and say thanks to these wonderful people who super thanked the last episode, the last video where I actually showed my daughters. I tried to explain to them what I used to do in video form. If you haven't seen that video, I suggest going back and watch it. But tremendous super thanks for that video. Thank you very much to Ghost Machine, Zim. Thank you very much for your ridiculous support. Backyard TARDIS continuing the streak. McMuffin, 1RHPS fan. I want to make sure I get all the letters correct. Evan, keeping it going. And Lauren, super thanked twice. Lauren, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. As well as a super chat during the premiere. Those are huge. Guys, thank you very much for your support. Once again, all your support goes directly to my daughter's youth soccer team. She is 10 years old, and she has a bunch of girls on our team who can't necessarily afford to play, or at least afford to pay for their team. So I'm going to use all the super thanks and Patreon or PayPal support and everything else. All that is going to go to support the team. I'm going to buy things for the team and help the girls with opportunities. That's the idea. So let's get into this bad boy. I appreciate everybody. And before we get into all that, I appreciate all our servicemen and women here on Memorial Day. I said this earlier personally to somebody I know, but I want to say it really quick. Today is about those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice here in America, our servicemen and women. I greatly appreciate you. Obviously, even though you may not necessarily know me, but I'll say this: if you are an active serviceman or woman protecting us here in the United States, I want to let you know that I appreciate your sacrifice and your family's sacrifice. It cannot be undersaid and understated how much I appreciate you. So thank you very much. Okay, let's get on to it. Let's have some fun and let's get into some Pop Fiction. Episode, this was season 2. I didn't know they did seasons. I thought they just kept it going. Let's go. Here we go. This intro, I didn't really like it as a kid, or as a young man. It's growing on me. The song. Let me just tell you something, man. When I hear that's the beauty of the NES and the sound, the music attached to it. It was so simple, but it hits you right in the heart, man. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. Woo! Wonderful.
We've covered several Nintendo games over the course of this show, but there's one franchise that's been long overdue. It's the 25th anniversary of this series this year, but unlike a certain Hylian hero, Nintendo's turned the cold shoulder to this bounty hunter. So we'll do what Nintendo don't. It's time to finally explore some of the mysteries behind the Metroid games, but don't get your hopes up for any glimpses at Newt Samus. Instead, we're sticking with the original NES classic. We all know that underneath the helmet of the hero we all mistakenly called Metroid at one point is one of gaming's most iconic female leads, Samus Aran. You've probably heard that within the depths of planet Zebes, there are some hidden areas that can't be accessed.
Real quick, the music that's being played, is that the Famicom version of this? Because it sounds different than the version that I'm familiar with on the traditional Nintendo. It sounds like there's an additional something else in there. You know, just take a listen.
By normal means. Or at least, that's what the stories and videos out there claim. Apparently, if you use a well-known glitch, Samus can reach secret worlds. Is this mere science fiction?
Oh, baby. Oh, look at that. That's crazy. Okay, man. Okay, so interesting. I know that obviously they're probably going to discuss the a glitch where you get caught in a door and you jump up, and that's kind of used in speedrunning. I've seen that. So that'll be interesting to see kind of how they go with there in this. So I love this game so much. I love the original Metroid. If they re-released Metroid without the password, just with a regular old man, talk about Isn't that just amazing that the NES, the Nintendo has this just tremendous back catalog of games, and they have games from 30, 35 years ago now that could easily be remade today, just with save features and updated graphics. Keep pretty much most of it the same, right? But don't really, like remake them. And I think you could absolutely do that. Games like, I'm talking about Nintendo IPs. I'm talking about Metroid. I'm talking about Kid Icarus. Keep them in the same style as they were, just graphically upgrade them, kind of like what we saw with Super Street Fighter 2 several years ago. Man, I would love to see that. By the way, I apparently am a very bad Metroid fan because I have not played the newest Metroid yet. And I know that you can please shame me in the comments. Please shame me down below. That sounded really dirty, didn't it? Shame me down below. But go and shame me in the comments about how I'm such a bad Metroid fan, having not played the newest one. I need to. I just don't have like 15 hours to play it. But anyways, I'll get around to it eventually. Maybe someday.
Virtually every single source out there gives you the same instructions on how to access these supposed secret areas, including a snippet from an old issue of Nintendo Fun Club. Simply go to a certain area of Planet Zebes, and then use something known as the door jump to make your way up through solid walls and ceilings into new locations. To perform the door jump, simply open a door and then step into the passage without crossing over to the next room. Wait for the door to close on you, and then alternate between pressing up and down on the D-pad. Make sure you don't go into your morph ball form, otherwise you can get stuck and you'll have to reset your game.
Ooh, soft lock. I never did this as a kid, but I'll tell you, one of the most satisfying things about the original Metroid is the sound of the door opening. I always loved that. I just loved, like to me, it just kind of like some bubble door. I don't know. That's just kind of what it looks like to me. It's some sort of weird bubble door, and the sound of it just fits it so well. Crazy, the sound design.
If you did this correctly, Samus will scale up through the wall. Once you're near the top of the screen, press the button to jump to scroll the camera up, and then repeat these steps to make your way up. Using this glitch in certain spots in Norfair, Brinstar, Kraid's hideout, and Ridley's hideout supposedly allows you to access areas of the game originally intended to be playable, but were ultimately left hidden off-screen and unfinished due to time constraints.
Intriguing.
It seems one of Samus's most useful abilities isn't a formal power-up in Metroid after all. In no time, we were glitching our way through countless walls, though the majority of our attempts ended with us getting stuck in some way or another. However, in a few key areas, there was something other than a dead end that waited. In these rare instances, we were able to access areas of the game that clearly were not on your map, yet were identical to other areas and screens we had previously
Did they just die?
Were these actually secret levels? NOA staff member Dan Osen, known better to Metroid fans as the voice heard during the opening of Super Metroid.
Let me just tell you this right now. This is what's separate. I've talked about this every single time we've done an episode of Pop Fiction. Every single time we looked at this series. This is what game trailers did better than anybody else. They went to the source. If they had a question, they went to whoever they needed to, and they asked them the question. It's such a simple idea, but that is journalism, folks. The idea of if you have a question, you go ask the question. It's a very simple premise. That's it.
The last Metroid is in captivity.
Has this to say about the secret worlds? Well, without asking the programmers or designers, I'd have to say that most of these things are glitches that fortunately worked out to be cool. There are obviously intentional secrets in Metroid, though. Mr. Osen was in Japan during the development of Super Metroid and got to talk extensively with current Metroid series director and producer Yoshio Sakamoto, as well as other Metroid staff members. Though his remarks indicated these environments weren't intentionally left in the game by the developers, it didn't quite explain their existence. So the question of exactly why these areas
the energy's dropping as well.
Exist still remain. The fans over at Metroid Database also wondered the same thing.
Now, I wonder if Metroid Database has some sort of I bet their website looks the exact same. I bet it looks the exact damn same.
Spent over a year, from
We'll check.
to 1998, researching the secret worlds. They uncovered numerous examples of the hidden areas accessed by the door jump, but Kent Hansen, aka Snowbro, put all the pieces together. Using tools that allowed him to hack the Metroid ROM, he unearthed the technical reasons why you could reach the secret worlds, and that sadly, these worlds weren't very secret.
I am so fascinated by the information you can find online, by the people who have essentially deconstructed these games, and they've reversed engineer them to where they know everything about the coding attached to this, the certain hexamal points, and it's just crazy to think about because They are so much smarter than me. Especially, it's insane.
Basically, each room in Metroid is programmed onto the ROM in a specific location. When you move between screens, you're actually loading into another room. It's sort of like The Legend of Zelda, which stores its overworld map and dungeons in 2 specific grid-based areas. And then all of those rooms are accessed by either screen warps when Link reaches the end of the screen, or tile warps when he steps on specific spots, like a staircase. The difference here is that all of the screen transitions are based on Samus's position. Each screen is assigned a value, and moving each direction
Oh, wow. Look, it's the same room. What? Oh, look at me being dumb, not even noticing that till I'm 40 years old. An idiot I am.
increases or decreases that value. This means when we were going up the screen vertically, we were doing something the programmers hadn't intended. The game still increases or decreases the value, but your location is no longer valid, like clipping out of bounds in a 3D game. Usually games have other ways to deal with this, like resetting you back to a stable point, but other times the game will simply crash. However, in rare cases like this, the game loads actual content, thus making the areas accessible and playable. Also, in a few instances, the door jump takes you to valid areas of the map, but the game still acts a bit odd. That's because there are actually 2 sets of data being accessed when loading a screen, map data and room data. In this case, the game is loading the correct map data, but at the same time, it's loading the incorrect room data. The most famous of these examples is the area you can reach above Ridley's hideout. It's Norfair map data that uses Ridley's hideout room data. The door jump prevents the correct room data from being loaded because the memory banks didn't switch over, which was achieved in Metroid via the loading time while traveling in the elevator shaft. By using the door jump, it is indeed possible to access new areas of Metroid, but thanks to dedicated Metroid fans like Kent Hansen, we now know that they are merely glitches and not actually unfinished zones originally planned for the game.
Oh, that's awesome. Fact. Amazing. Amazing stuff. I love everything about that. Wow. Good stuff right there. Yeah, as the internet has become more and more prevalent with knowledge, I'd say this, without series like Pop Fiction, that, we wouldn't have had, the wealth of knowledge that we do now. It's crazy to think about. Okay, I got a treat for you. I got a special treat. I went in and I looked at MetroidDatabase.com. If you recall, here, let me actually pull it up really quick. I think it's important that we actually have the source material. Here is the original MetroidDatabase.com, and we're gonna see how different it looks. This is what they had in 2011, and here is the updated MetroidDatabase.com. What do we got? Whoa, yeah! What the interesting thing, #1 fan site for Metroid series since 1996. Wow, they've been going hard. Good for them. Updating on Twitter and stuff. That's good stuff. Man, you gotta really love some Metroid. That's good stuff. Anyways, wow, what a fun look down there. That one, look, I love that series. I've watched several of the Pop Fiction series on my channel. I encourage you to go watch more of them with me. That's what we do here. We watch classic internet videos and relive the best time of the internet. I want to thank you once again to all of our servicemen and women out there here on Memorial Day. I realize if you're not watching this on Memorial Day, it's okay. You can still thank your servicemen and women out there. And thank you to the super thankers and the PayPal contributors. Greatly appreciate that, guys. You guys have an excellent day. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Do not let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. See you guys later. Bye-bye.